Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's family service. My name is Ron Suchia, and I'll be the chairperson today. We'll begin this morning's service with Sanbujo on pages 24 and 25. Now we will have Sutra chanting, Sei Ge on page 93.
ぞ政府上昇が青の良好不義大聖主不祭庶民具政府上昇が足上運動幼少長実行空教に消耗政府上昇ら利欲人少年上下主本領地具無浄土一生天民死金美現代語不詳無才能少女三苦行交際集約難乖離知恵言別子根本案永息小悪道通断全注文放送上万蔵医療老実本日願中重期健康本風で一周解放像法制空の法超大集中説法ししく不要一切物不足修徳門大礼秩序門特に三大用動物無下地通達未不詳感覚営利投資最小損志願略効果大成功感動幸福少年に幸福人領形
Please stand for the Gatha Nembutsu I in the White Book on page 99 and remain standing for the reading of the Three Treasures in the Purple Book on page 8.
page 8, Three Treasures, number 1. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Please be seated.
Now, Reverend Fujimoto will share a Dharma message with us.
Okay, good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Nice to have people back from their journeys, and so looking forward to hearing some of the stories of their trips, maybe some pictures. Can you hear me in the back today? Okay, good. So Sharman always reminds me, you got to speak louder. They can't hear you. Speak louder. So I'm trying to do my best today. I think sometimes when we have a larger crowd too, it kind of eats up the sound in the room, and my voice is kind of soft anyway, so I need to work on this. So today, 2 weeks ago, we had our Shotsuki, and I was able to share things that happened at our ministers' meetings, the Fuken in Lodi, and being in the Northern California district, and particularly in Lodi, their members came and brought snacks, and sometimes when we have something in San Jose's Bay Area, it's really strict. The hotels can only have you do so much. They want you to use their food. Their coffee, costs $1,000 a pot, and you can't bring your own, right? But because it's Lodi, it's more of a country setting, and they were very allowing to have the members bring in. We had all these snacks lined on the table, giant pot of coffee all day long, and the members provided this, right? And so the members were always there, making sure things looked nice and giving us our snacks and refreshing the table repeatedly. 3 or 4 of them would be there all throughout the day. And being Lodi, my brother had served there for quite a number of years when he first started. And so some of them I remembered from my time in Sacramento, and took a time to tell them how nice the table looks, and I really appreciate their support while I was there, and it's nice to see you all again. And some of them, I had forgot one in particular that used to be a neighbor of my brother's, and her kids and his kids grew up together through Dharma school, regular school, and going to special events and weddings and things like that. And so I had forgotten about that story. So, oh, that's right. And remembering the time. And so this kind of influence of my brother was there during the Fuken, and later on there's a Reverend Amida who serves there now. So he's telling me about my brother. Sometimes they'll do a service together, or recently he was asked to do a wedding. And so, they confer and make the arrangements so that my brother is able to step in and do a service for long-time connections with him. And so I'm sure it's really rewarding for him to reconnect with a lot of these people in that area. So as I was thinking about Lodi and my brother and things like this, it's been about 5 years since he's retired, and thinking about what did he close out his career with. I was trying to think about things that he said. We went to his retirement service in San Jose, and some of those stories I was remembering, and I wanted to share some of those with you. So before we do this, please join me in Gassho, and I'll read this Wasan. It's talking about people of the Nembutsu. Such beings are like people who, imbued with incense, bear its fragrance on their bodies. They may be called those adorned with the fragrance of light. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I think it's real striking, the fragrance of light. What does that mean? It's kind of a poetic phrase, and written by Shinran Shonin, and it's saying that people who have been touched or influenced by these Nembutsu teachings are like those who have been imbued. You sit close to the incense, and sometimes you go home and you could smell the incense. I could smell it on my robes. I remember when we were smaller, they used to burn much, much more, 4 times more incense. And it's not really that good for elders. They start moving further and further back in the room because they can't breathe, And so myself in particular, I burn less incense than many of our ministers. But during my father's time, he'd come home with the obupan rice, and he'd make fried rice with it, and you could smell the incense, right? You could taste the incense on your rice. So it's kind of like this, but we are all imbued with this incense, that sense of being a Nembutsu followers. As we live our lives, the Nembutsu followers live their lives, and they carry the wisdom of the Nembutsu teachings. So this is what this saying is saying, right? So not just studying, but just by being together, chanting together, offering incense together, we carry this sense of the Nembutsu, the wisdom of the Nembutsu. So these were words that I think I could see when my brother was talking about his time. And so he's talking maybe like feeling like his final Dharma talk with his members, right? So he wrote about these visitations and things. And for the Fuken, we're talking about pastoral care, going to hospital settings and things. So he wrote about visiting an elder member, and she had to have one of her legs amputated. Okay, so he is going over there wondering, going to the hospital room, what can he say to someone who's going to lose her leg, right? So what would be something appropriate? What would be something comforting to someone who's going to go through something like that, right? So thinking about it as he's driving to the hospital, parking his car and moving up towards the room, and he entered the room. I'm sure they said their hellos and how are you? Good to see you. And so he settled into his chair and looking forward to this kind of exchange with her. And she told him right away, kind of reflective, well, at least I can still complain, right? And kind of broke the ice. He's wondering, what can I say? But she's, at least I can still complain, and Reverend Ken, he said, this taught me that the Nembutsu life helps us through some of the greatest hardships and can be a teacher for us, okay? And he's thinking that the Nembutsu path has a way that allows us to shift and adapt for whatever hardships that we come. We take it all in. It's a difficulty, but we're not there stuck. We don't just get bitter. We don't just get angry, right? And so we are able to adapt and adjust because we have this groundedness, right? And so this ability to shift our perspective shows itself again and again, maybe here, maybe in ourselves. And I think this is true. Maybe things that we've gone through, seems to me, when we listen to stories of camp experiences, you know, there's a difference between Buddhist, Shin Buddhist, and non-Buddhist perspective and how they were impacted, what they do, what they continue to do even today. So when I was thinking about this, there was a young family in Ontario, Oregon, mother and father, daughter, very successful student, and a son, and they're both very successful. The son is the younger, and we had our Ibixi trips that take high school kids to Japan, and he was one of those that was in my group, and I was the chaperone, and Grant was known for being kind of quiet, but he would always eat and chew everything like you're supposed to. You know, I don't know how many times before you chew, but because of this, he's so purposely eating his food, and everyone knows Grant's going to be the last one done. He's not going to get on the bus because he's still eating, right? And so they all know and joke about this, and this was Grant. Before he went, I told them, you go to certain shops and they have those, what are those called, the Anko, the stamp with your last name, and you could buy them and you could stamp all your papers or your books, and his eyes lit up. So yeah, just go in there, tell him Saito. You don't have to speak Japanese. Look at the stamps, tell them your name's Saito, and they'll find it for you. And so he's looking forward to that. And during my time there, I have these like 4 boxes of pristine comic books, Marvel comic books. And so I let him read all these comic books. So we have kind of a bond going, right? And so as after high school, he started working in Seattle, and he would come back. He had a job in Ontario. It's like a five-hour drive, right? So sometimes he would go in to see his friends, and he'd come back driving late and getting back in time to go to work. And he was the one in particular, never drank. He would have this book of all the detriments of taking drugs, and he would tell his friends, this does this and this and this to your mind, to your body. And so when they would have a party, he was designated driver, right? They could always count on him that he'd be okay. You know, he'll go to all the parties, but no drinking, no drugs. Sure, let's hang out, right? So he's coming home from this trip, and he got a little tired, and making, hour and a half from home, and he rolled the car, fell asleep, and his car tumbled into the center area from the lanes going this way, that way. And someone was following, like health professional, like a nurse was a couple cars down. So, oh my goodness, and stopped, and they got help right away. Ambulance came and picked him up, and this and that. And they took him to Ontario, and somehow we got news before they contacted the parents. And so Charmin and I were at the hospital, with the parents real early on, and sitting there waiting for things to happen. And he was in very bad shape, right? And so when the doctors came out of the room to talk to the parents, we were right there. And, Charmin has been through those types of situations, working as a state police and emergencies and things like this. And so we were right there listening. The doctors came out, and only so much they can do. They still had his blood on their gowns and things like this, and a little bit had this thing in mind that, another young kid driving late, probably partied all night and lost control of the car. And Sharman stepped in. No, you don't know Grant. You don't know his family. His mother is a nurse. A father, he was a farmer. And then he went back to school to become a pharmacist. And he works at State River Correctional Facility. He's the pharmacist there. All the students, all the family are top-notch students. And so, don't just think of him like this. And so they kind of shifted because Sharman is, adamantly telling them, this is a good family, please do what you can. And so, it ended up, he has this traumatic brain injury. He has not recovered, right? It's 10 years since, and so still going through living in a home and being cared for, and he can't walk on his own or talk on his own or do any of these things, and so, but going through all of that, I remember the mother coming to me and said, Sensei, as Shin Buddhist, you kind of go through so many things, but there's like a stabilizing thing. Don't you think so, Sensei? When you go follow the Nembutsu teachings and something in your life, there's a stability that you carry. Grant's having a difficult time, but we deal with it as best as we can. And that's about as much as we can do. And she's kind of feeling like this. And so, yeah, it seems to be, doesn't it? Right? But this kind of sense of having a groundedness that you can go through difficulties, right? And so listening to my brother's stories and reflecting on some of the experiences that I've had, I felt that type of connection too, being in the ministry together. So another story Reverend Ken had was that he was at a service, a family memorial, and in attendance is this man, elder man, and he was a farmer. And in a farm accident, he lost one arm. Okay, so he's coming up to Oshoko. So he's going to do his Oshoko, Gassho, and he only has one arm. So Ken's sitting there waiting. He could see the line. Like sometimes I say, I have the best seat in the house watching people come up to Oshoko. So this gentleman's coming up and he only has one arm. So how, when it comes to his turn, what was he going to do? Ken's wondering. Ken wrote, when it came to be his turn, I was able to witness the most beautiful gassho I had ever seen up to then and since. It was with one hand, but it was as if two hands were actually there. So somehow he was able to do this, and it just seemed so beautiful to my brother. And, a lot of us tend to get sloppy, or we hurry or something, or we're thinking about something else, and we're not totally here mindfully. But he had only one hand. Appreciation for the hand that he does have, and maybe thinking about when he did have both hands, but they both came together as if both hands, one seen, one unseen, truly together. So I had a reminder of that story, that kind of story in Ontario as well. There was a Mr. Mizuda, and there's two brothers that they farmed, and in their younger days, the two brothers, successful farmers, they had their own families, and they were judo enthusiasts. So they helped to start the judo dojo in Ontario that is right across the street from the temple. And so pretty much all nights. And judo is a big, big thing. Snake River judo, and they would go to tournaments down here, San Jose, everywhere. Other dojos would come up to Ontario, and there's this cross gathering of judo people from all over the United States. And so they were keys in that. And so the elder Mizuta, he had a stroke, so he was in a facility, and he had done all these things for the temple, devout Jodo Shinshu Buddhist, and so he would greet me, not too many people. Slowly, at first lots of people come, but slowly not so many visitors. But because I'm the sensei there, I try to find all the people who are in different facilities, go and say hello. And so he didn't have use in his left side, so he had right hand. So as soon as I walk in the room, his eyes brighten up, right? And he'd raise his other hand. And so then my eyes brighten up. So, and I said, one hand gasho, right? And so this is our greeting to each other. So I raise my right hand just like he's doing. And I say the first line of Shoshin Ge, right? Kimyo Muryo Junyorai. And he's kind of mumbling. He can't really understand. He's doing Namo Fukashi Giko. So he's doing the second line of the Shoshinge, and together, he's smiling, I'm smiling, and this is how we would always greet each other. And so we did this regularly. So again, reminding things I go through, things that he was able to share with his members. And one final story that he had, that he went to a funeral home, and he's going to do the funeral pillow service for this family. Lost one of the parents, and so the family was going to gather. He set up an altar in one of the rooms, and he lit the incense candle, some flowers in a vase, and the family got delayed. So he's just sitting there waiting, and so he's the only one in the room. Sunlight coming through the window, and maybe some of you have noticed, you light the incense, particularly in a sunny room, and you see the incense, right? And it straight, sometimes very, very straight. If there's no door open, it just goes up, right? If someone else checks in the room, just peeks in and leaves, and that movement over there and here, the incense will go, and after a while, settles back down, right? And no matter what door, no matter where, something happens to disturb, and then it comes back to this very calm, settled flow of the incense smoke. Okay, so he's watching this as he's going, thinking about the family's going to come. What should I say? And he said, this is what I should talk about, right? And so when the family came, he thought, things, you've lost someone in your family, like a door opening. The whole atmosphere, the area changes, and so it gets disturbed. But things will settle back down, right? It will go back to the smoke of the incense coming up, at first disturbed, billowing away. Everything is upset, but it comes back, okay? It could be any kind of door, but as soon as the door is closed, things will settle. Things will go back to normal. And so he was able to share this type of story. It's so difficult when we lose someone. It might take even 1 year service. It's not enough time, right? I get emails from recently Barney getting ready for a 1 year memorial and things like this, and 1 year, not enough time. Still, things are disturbed in our life, but little by little, with support, with friendship, with guidance, with services, we kind of settle back down. Okay, so this is what he was talking about. We find a new balance. It's going to be different from before, but it's a new balance. When we lose someone, things change, but a new balance will come and emerge and show itself. Okay, so when we come to our services or to any Sunday service, we have each experienced these types of things, losing a parent, losing a sibling, or someone dear to us that we have lost, and these changes occur, and that we are able to make this adaptation, and I think all the more better because we have this settledness that comes with the Nembutsu teachings. see if you have noticed some, see if you have a story you could share with me or an experience that came to this kind of conclusion. Okay, please join me in Gassho. Such beings are like people who, imbued with incense, bear its fragrance on their bodies. They may be called those adorned with the fragrance of light. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Ken. Okay.
Thank you, Sensei, for your always interesting Dharma messages. Please stand for the Gatha, May Peace Prevail, on pages 89 and 90 in the White Book. Thank you to those who helped with the altar preparations and with the service today. Reverend Dennis, YouTube by Brian, the altar flowers by Jane, organist Lenny, and to those who brought refreshments. Are there any newcomers or visitors today? Nobody? Okay. We have a few announcements. Next Sunday, September 28th, there will be an outdoor service and ask Reverend Dennis. Abwa annual fall food drive will be until Hoonko on November 16th. Monetary donations only, no food donations. You can donate online to the Alameda County Community Food Bank or write a check to Abwa, and it will be divided equally between the Alameda County and Alameda City food banks. If you donate to the Alameda County Food Bank before September 28th, your donation will be matched by the partners of the food bank. On Sunday, October 5th, we'll have our Shotsuki monthly memorial service, and that will be followed by the Abo meeting. Are there any other announcements? Dorothy? Sensei.
So we'll see how that works. Let me know, we'll have a sign up next week.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy. Sensei has a message for us.
Yeah, we have our fall Buddhist education class that's going to start in October every Thursday from 6:30 till 8. And we've done this year after year. And so this year we're going to have the class on the Sei Ge. Okay, people ask sometimes, pretty often we do the Sei Ge, and are we supposed to know what we're chanting? What's in there? What does this mean? And this and that, and where it's from. So we're going to go into a little bit of the background of the Sei Ge, what it means and where it's from. So it's kind of an interesting story. Here I try to do all our different chants. So we do the Amida Kyo during Shotsuki and alternate. If it's a Shinran related service, we do the Shoshinge, which is a little bit longer but very significant. And then there's Sei Ge, Junirai, Sanbutsu Ge that we do. And so many of you know where it's from and what it means and things like this, but maybe not all of you, so you are welcome. So as far as the class is concerned, Alameda has always hosted spring and fall, and it's kind of a lot of work. And so Enmanchi wanted to hold a class too, so my suggestion is, why don't you host the fall class? Alameda can do the spring and you could do the fall. So that doesn't mean only their people come to class, right? This is open to everyone, all of our members, all of their members, whoever's on our list or their list. So it's no different as far as I'm concerned, okay? Just because someone else is on the Zoom screen saying, welcome to our class, it doesn't make a difference. It's just another one, spring and fall, spring and fall. It says the fall, and the Enmanji is going to be hosted. But so I hope we have a good number of people from our connections and Alameda people there supporting your sensei and learning as well about the Sei Ge. So it's an interesting story, and it connects to a lot of other things, where it's from and basic meaning, right? So I think it'll be special to have that much, no matter what we do. Every time we come, whatever class, Dharma talks, we have dots missing in our picture of what the Nembutsu teachings are, and we add more dots. We are always adding more dots. So connecting the dots, we can make a clearer and clearer picture as we come to the temple. So that's how I look at these classes, and you're all very, very welcome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Yes, Maria?
Class in physics and some Japanese from school and teaching, and I request for Zabuton and Japanese style rooms, good enough stuff. So if anyone has any, but they don't want to be in there, and let so that it makes it double floor square pillows so the kids can sit on the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Are there any other announcements? Okay, well, thank you for attending this morning's service. Please come forward to offer incense and then join us for refreshments in the social hall.